everybody, well, Golden Era Bookworm here, and wow, I mean, this has got to be the best collection I've ever received. Yeah, it feels like Christmas. I feel absolutely blessed to to be owning this. This is a collection that I just recently acquired, and as you can see, it contains a lot of very historical pieces regarding bodybuilding, and of course regarding the great bodybuilder and film actor Steve Reeves. These are all authentic pieces that I'll be going through, along with a small collection of Sergio Oliva originals and some photos and magazines, etc. It's quite a large amount that's come today, and I'm just over the moon. Feels like 1,000 Christmases in one. It really does. Let's get started, I think, with some of the most historical pieces here, and I want to start with, I'm just getting the certificates sorted, because all of these pieces are coming with certificates, with the 1948 Mr. World Contest medallion that was awarded to Steve Reeves. And I do know that Scott from Steve Reeves Hercules on YouTube actually owned, he's owning right now the trophy. And as you can see, this is the medallion that was offered to Steve Reeves. Offered, I'm assuming this translates, by the French Federation of Physical Culture. And it's quite a beautiful medal, as you can see, with a very aesthetic figure. Fantastic. And there's the certificate of authenticity that comes along with it. Next piece here is the medallion that was given to him in the 1950 Mr. Universe contest, which he won against Reg Park in London, England. Of course, he also won the famous Eugene Sandow trophy, the bronze one, and later acquired the golden one, and the silver one seems to have been lost and destroyed actually during the World War. But this piece survives, and as you can read, there you go, Mr. Universe 1950 London. Okay, so that's really fantastic, and a real important piece of history regarding the history of bodybuilding. Of course, I know that Vince McMahon owns the original golden and bronze Sandow trophies that, of course, go all the way back to the first competition, to the great competition, the first bodybuilding competition held again in London by Eugene Sandow back, over 100 years ago. And I do know that it's very expensive. It was sold to Vince McMahon by George Helmer for a very expensive price. I can't possibly ever dream of acquiring such a piece, but at least this is a piece that Steve Reeves did in fact win during the 1950 Mr. Universe. So I'm very proud to now be owning this in my collection. Here's a certificate of authenticity for these bodybuilding equipment handles that Steve Reeves used in his own home gym. There they are. Really nice pieces. They seem to have lasted a long time. They're beautifully chromed, and they've got this swivel at the top that allows them to, well, no, it actually doesn't swivel. I thought they swiveled. But either way, this is obviously the hook, the ring that attaches to the hooks of the cable. So a very nice piece there as well. An original piece of Steve Reeves's gym right there. Okay, what else have we got? We've got the original mug. Now this is apparently the protein mug, the protein shake mug, I should say, that Steve Reeves would obviously drink his protein shakes from. And as you can see, there's his initials, Steve Lester Reeves. Right, very nice mug, quite heavy. And another beautiful piece from his collection. This particular shirt belonged to Steve Reeves as well, and he used it for his workouts. Presidential Award of Physical Fitness, right? So Presidential Physical Fitness Award. Don't know the exact story behind it, but I'm wondering if the actual president of the United States gave that to him. I have to look that up. I should have actually read a little bit about all these pieces, because presenting them, I assume that I should be also talking about their history. I am going to receive also his Mr. America belt, 1947. That's on its way. I'll be showing that quite soon. And yeah, I guess the rest of the stuff now that I'd like to show you is the wonderful collection of books here and booklets, rare booklets, books, comic books, and some photos and other things that I think are really worth talking about. So just give me a minute while I move this stuff. Actually, let's not move anything, hey? Let's just continue here. I'll just slightly close that, and you can continue to enjoy looking at those. So here we have two of the same booklets, Steve Reeves photo specials, with different covers, okay? I just had a look at them earlier, and they contain basically just photos of Steve Reeves, although they are quite hard to acquire, and these are just in mint condition. I got all this collection from a guy in the UK, and I thank him very much for agreeing to sell me this wonderful collection. There's the actual Sandow trophy I was talking about that Reeves received along with this 1950 medallion, of course, during the Mr. Universe competition. Some great photos of Reeves again, really nice stuff. I can't say I've seen this last photo much, this one, second last photo, of Reeves talking on the microphone. Check out that old school microphone, it's awesome. And I know that's from the Mr. Universe contest, so it's pretty nice stuff. As I mentioned, this booklet itself is the same one, so I'll just put it aside there. Here we have quite a rare one too, Profile of a Champion, Steve Reeves. Haven't opened that one yet, I'll probably do so later. Now, I was told by the owner that this particular book is like, I don't know, Pandora's box, almost impossible to find. Not just that, but this one is actually signed by Steve Reeves himself, which makes it even better. It's a book in Italian, The Story of a Myth, Steve Reeves, by Giuseppe Aletto. And it's also signed by Giuseppe Aletto, so this is one of a kind for sure. And it goes through his life with some very rare photos of Reeves, of course during his competitions, winning in bodybuilding, and then of course it goes into his life as a Hollywood star. You know, it's quite interesting. Now I do understand Italian, so I'll be able to read this and enjoy that. Yeah, wonderful pieces here. Here's some stuff that I think should be on a t-shirt. What do you think? Hercules Unchanged and Hercules the Strongest Man in the World comics. I reckon they'd make great t-shirts. I haven't opened those, but again, these are from 1960 and would be awesome, I think, as pieces of art and stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Now here's quite a rare booklet, Wanted Steve Reeves, and it's just got some really interesting pictures. Here's Reeves next to some kind of next to the statue of Abraham Lincoln. Women, or Wine, Women and Song, Steve Reeves style. I'm sure that's the fruits of his labor, that's for sure. He had many women, I'm pretty sure, just throwing themselves at him just like that. And there's some really interesting ones here as well. It takes courage. Wallace has it. Do you? An ad for toothpaste. Really bizarre stuff. 1972 campaign. Steve Reeves for president. Some Playboy calendar with all these gorgeous women there. At the time, I'm sure they were all playmates. And yeah, some very interesting booklet. Here we have a couple of photo albums, again quite rare, of Steve Reeves. And I have to admit that the picture quality of these photos is phenomenal. Nothing like the pixelated crap you get from the internet these days, as these were always, back then, when things were done properly and people would actually ask for the negatives and have them scanned professionally and then return them. and not rip people off like they do these days by just taking things off the internet which shouldn't be there in the first place. That's what I love about these original albums, that these albums show you some very high quality, glossy photos of Steve Reeves. Yeah, it's really worth looking at. So these albums are quite interesting. Really beautiful photos. Some quite rare, some I haven't seen before. Now we get to some really rare stuff here. Well, before I get to that one, let's get to this one. Steve Reeves, He Knew What He Wanted by Robert Kennedy. I actually have this one scanned and available on my website, and it does go through Reeves's biography and his workouts and stuff, so it's pretty good. Let's get to some of the really rare stuff now. As I said, this is pretty awesome. Here we have the bluish edition of Steve Reeves, A Tribute by Milton Moore. This is pretty much one of the first, from what I understand, biographical pieces ever done on Steve Reeves in 1983, and there were several different kind of books that came out again and again by Milton Moore Jr., and this is one of them. And what's so unique is that everything's bluish, but again the photo quality is just spectacular, just fantastic, all glossy. These things just are hard to decay because the printing was done so well, you know. We've got all this dedication to Reeves with some photos and stuff. It's just phenomenal. Really nice stuff. Just had a little drink there. But here we have now another very rare booklet, Images of Steve Reeves, which was sold by the Steve Reeves International Society, which existed a while ago. Still does in a way, just by a different name now. And again, high quality glossy photos of Reeves throughout his life. Then, you know, bodybuilding as an actor. Look at these photos. That's pretty good stuff. He looks good with a beard, doesn't he? And a mo. I'm assuming they were profile shots for acting. Again, here is his physique as it changes through the years. Bodybuilding. Beautiful quality photos. You can see what I mean. Nothing pixelated. All originals. Of course, these are all from actual Reeves's actual negatives, which I believe George Helmer still owns. And so these were scanned for the booklets. And then, of course, he goes through all the movies in Hollywood and stuff. Again, really great stuff. Really rare and great stuff. Now, here's a really good one. Look at the thickness of this book. Now, this is Worlds to Conquer, Steve Reeves. An authorized biography by Chris LeClaire. Of course, this book is still available on Amazon, but I have to admit the current version is a very cheap reproduction at best. This is the original, signed by LeClaire, as you can see here, Chris LeClaire. You can actually see the indentation of the pen lines. And it was originally printed like this, in this thick paper, glossy, with a real, I mean, you see the respect given to Reeves in this book when it's printed in this fashion. There's something about the way books were printed back then versus now. I will admit, now there's little care. It's all mass produced. This is class. These glossy books, fantastic. I've read the book. It's a great read. I did enjoy it. Yeah, that's what I got to say about that. Here we have more from Milton Moore Jr. Steve Reeves, One of a Kind. Another quite thick booklet. This has quite a lot of information on Reeves, of course, with fantastic photos, especially from him as a youth and as a bodybuilder. Very beautiful quality photos. Yeah, just have a look. Just have a look. I really have to take all this in. This is just something phenomenal. I know these pieces are extremely hard to find and they go for quite a bit of money, and I'm just fortunate. I'm just fortunate. That's all I got to say. And here's a tribute by Milton Moore Jr. Again, very similar photographs. Oh wow, I've never seen that painting before. That's great. That's just great. And I should say drawing. Again, you know, what can I say? It's awesome. Thanks. And it's written by, it's actually signed by Milton Moore Jr. there. Pretty awesome stuff. Pretty awesome stuff. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? This is part of the Reeves collection that has arrived. The rest is on its way. As I said, that's the I'll be talking about it soon, and I can tell you what's arriving. Another trophy from Steve Reeves, as well as his training belt, and yeah, pretty awesome stuff. Now, along with this marvelous, already marvelous collection, there are several photos that were also gifted to me by the gentleman of whom I bought this stuff from. Again, some fine photos of Reeves, beautiful quality, signed by him with a certificate of authenticity. More, fantastic, look at that. Just beautiful. And as I mentioned, and I'll get to this in a second, there are some great photos here of Sergio, but I'll get to those in a minute. I do want to talk about this magazine, Strength and Health, signed by Steve Reeves as well, just after he won, you can see that, the Mr. America 1947. So that's a really, really beautiful piece right there. That concludes the Steve Reeves collection, and now I come to the Sergio Oliva collection. These are original prints from Wayne Galash. That were, as you can see, with Sergio Oliva. The person that I bought these off is also a very big fan of Casey Viator, and here is an actual signed photo of Casey Viator, quite rare. Very rare. And here is a signed photo of Sergio Oliva, again extremely rare, to my countryman and friend at Rancho Luna Club, from Sergio Oliva, Mr. America, Universe, and Olympia. That's pretty awesome stuff, I've got to admit. So moving from Steve Reeves now to Mr. Olympia, Sergio Oliva, we also come to what I consider is some pretty awesome pieces too. You thought the Reeves stuff was awesome. Well, this is equally as awesome. Let me just pull it over. Both pieces, which are pretty phenomenal. Let's see if you can see the first one. It's original drawing by David Brown, right? And get this, here are Sergio Oliva's original wrist wraps, signed by Sergio Oliva. Now that is amazing. Wow, there's something special to me about pieces that these champions actually wore or used, like the Reeves's cable handles, or you know, Sergio's actual wrist wraps. I mean, these things to me exude power, you know, and that is just amazing. These men were true champions. These are the implements they used. Look at that, it's just phenomenal. So yeah, I'm in awe. I'm in awe of this collection, and this is a wonderful piece that I'll put alongside my other original drawing of Sergio that was part of the Muscle Mag collection that belonged to Dave Draper. Yeah, I mean, this collection I'm amassing is just phenomenal right now. I mean, it's, when I have the time to display it really in the exhibition that I do hope to organize in St. Gallen in Switzerland or somewhere in Europe, I think it's going to be something special, and I do hope people come, because this is the whole point, to really showcase bodybuilding. It's affected our lives in many ways. Because of these pioneers, we now have gyms and supplements and all this stuff that we all benefit from, and if it wasn't for these guys, we wouldn't be living with these commodities, these luxuries, really, right? finally, I would like to talk about this two sets of photos, which actually have to do with Sergio, because he used to train at the Duncan YMCA, where these photos were taken. Quite rare. And what we see here is a rare seminar by Tommy Kono on Olympic weightlifting. And you had Bill Zeno, Bob Guider, Russ Knipp, Norb Gruber, Phil Gripaldi, you know, some amazing names, Joe Pulio and Monroe Saffold in these in this particular seminar. This particular photos were just recently discovered and sent to me by my good friend Alec, and I want to thank you, mate. You wrote me a wonderful letter too, explaining the whole thing. If I find an article on it, I might even do a whole video on this, because this is rather amazing. But just imagine, like Alex says, being in this room with all these legends and just absorbing what they have to teach you. And not just that, but when I sit back and just reflect on this photo, look at the equipment these guys are wearing. Just normal leather shoes, you know, nothing too fancy like today, you know. Just shorts, t-shirt, some good old rusty plates, you know, some rubber on the floor, nothing fancy. These gyms were just hardcore and people trained their asses off. That's basically what it was, wasn't it? I think nowadays we just overcomplicate things. But what do you guys think about all this? I mean, this is rather the collection that has arrived. We've got Sergio Oliva. We've got Steve Reeves here. Wonderful collections. I'm very honored to have received this collection. And yes, I want to know what you guys think in the comments. So please leave me your comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, give the video a thumbs up as well. Of course, please subscribe. And yeah, what can I say? I'm overwhelmed. Gotta go and read some of this stuff and enjoy some of this stuff. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now. Keep it golden. Keep it old school. Now, if you're interested in learning more about how Steve Reeves developed his ribcage, I've got a wonderful new e-booklet up on my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com, which explains a very rare and unpublished Reeves ribcage and full body routine. Of course, my website has many other booklets on Steve Reeves' methods, specifically how I developed my waist, how I developed my broad shoulders, and another ebook on how he developed his wonderful diamond-shaped calves. All available on my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com. Online training is now available, including my new program, Novice to Classic, a program geared towards beginners and novices looking at developing a classic physique, as well as Classic Cut, geared at those who wish to lose weight and gain muscle fast. Details available at www.goldenerabookworm.com. Need a bodybuilding poster for your gym or office? Then check out Ironman Magazine archive.smugmug.com for the highest quality posters on the planet. Scroll through the galleries of all the legends, including greats such as Arnold, Frank Zane, Sergio Oliva, Serge Nubret, Tom Platz, and Larry Scott, and much, much more, and select your poster now. As a natural bodybuilder, it is imperative to know your own testosterone levels, as they are a reflection of the anabolic environment created by your diet and training. I would highly recommend using the male hormone test kit from Let's Get Checked, and make sure you use my code GOLDEN30 for a 30% discount. Again, the advantage of checking yourself regularly is that you will know how well your body is anabolically primed to put on the much desired muscle you are working for. Get your gym wear and Golden Era apparel at the new Golden Era Tees shop, featuring designs from the Silver Era and Golden Era legends, available as tanks, shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies in all sizes and colors. To support your favorite YouTube channel, please visit teespring.com/stores/Golden Era Bookworm for merchandise, including t-shirts, hoodies, face masks, phone cases, and much, much more. Once again at teespring.com/stores/Golden Era Bookworm. Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the Golden Era of bodybuilding. us have the time to go to a gym or the opportunity to have a coach to teach us one-on-one, but with the Future Fitness app, it's like having a personal trainer in your living room. Upon signing up, you'll have a video call with your trainer who will then design a fitness plan unique to you. From February 11th onwards, you can try the Future Fitness app for only $19 for the first month. So go on and hit my link at tryfuture.co/GEB to get started.